Flip and start now. Hello, hello. This is week number 2 of the Counter Nature weekly show with Jayel and I. I'm excited. I've been waiting all week for this. I don't know about you, but there's been quite a bit of news going on this week throughout North America.
Yeah, it's been borderline overwhelming keeping up with it all. I think our list of stuff to talk about this week has increased by probably double. So I
Oh
think we went
yeah.
over on our time that we went in the last episode. We did more than we expected because time flies and you're having fun. So
Oh
this
yeah.
week I'm interested to see what we hit as far as the timeline.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this heavy of a news week on like a weekly basis, but I was surprised with how much there was to talk about. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna start off by just bringing up the rank G/S changes. You want to go into detail about any of those real quick?
Yeah. If you're watching this, you probably know what it is, but for the people that maybe don't have the details of it, I'll try and give my most brief overview of it just real quick. Don't spend too much time on it, but yeah, rank S and G are officially for the people. We are yeah, moving into a new world. So there's not going to be like the rank G qualifier. There's not going to be like the generic selection for rank select. Now it's just full grind mode. Um, I don't want to give too much of my opinion for this because I've seen some pretty passionate responses on, on
Oh
Twitter and
yeah,
on the forums.
true.
So I'm gonna just pause there and forget I even thought about sharing my opinion before we have our interview with Viz. But yeah, that's the big one, right? And so there's no more money pool for rank G. It's all in the rank S money pool, and there's no more 10-man hubs for this. So all the ranks are going to be integrated, and yeah, it'll be, I guess, kind of the luck of the draw with who you get matched up with on that rank S side for the money. And there's a decaying factor now implemented, so you can't just sit on your rank S and rank G. I think Xner, you were talking about it before the other day, where you said like you actually did get shot
I
down from
I decayed
your rank.
from B minus to C plus. They didn't have to do that to me. There's no need to derank me.
Yeah, so I think it's like they said it wasn't like anything crazy, but I don't think it's anything like huge either. I mean, like I think it's 40 days, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. You guys can check it out, but it's a little bit more than a month, but not much more than a month. So yeah, there's definitely a factor there. Um, and then I guess the other big thing is really obviously around the semi-monthly tournaments, which is awesome. And I don't think anyone really has anything negative to say about that because there's just a common conversation that go on with like the whole NA scene where there's not enough team competition. It's all focused on pugging, and so now you've got Mythic League. I think I don't know how often they're doing their tournaments, but this summer these summer
Oh
cups were
yeah.
past 3 weekends in a row,
Yeah,
something like that.
past 3 weekends they were just like a blast to watch, and I'm sure that it'll kind of inspire teams to stick together more. I mean, $3,000 cups every week is quite a bit of money for teams to be making. Uh,
Yeah,
and now that ESEA is gonna follow in their footsteps, I mean, that's like a whole influx of money being brought into to the semi-pro scene, which is just gonna do nothing but I think increase how competitive CS:GO gets. I'm so excited for this, for that
yeah.
specific change.
Yeah, and it's exciting. And I actually just thought of this now. Like, it's exciting for obviously the teams that are going to win the money are probably going to be teams we all know about, of course, right? But like, you know, just how well, we're gonna get into this later, but
Mm.
I have to bring it up because it's
Yeah,
I already mentioned it. Where Positive Vibes beating Zay Puggogs, obviously, like it's a reputable MDL team, but it's still pretty big news. And so to have that twice a month for the opportunity for like a complete open tournament to take place where there's gonna be upsets, of course,
oh
right?
yeah,
Because these teams are gonna be playing with stand-ins, they're gonna be pugging it. So
right.
yeah, huge opportunity for like these lesser tier teams to get known and get their names out there. And I think that's a debate to have where it's like, are opportunities like this more important than that rank G and rest S grind?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I'll kind of end it there, Xner, and pass it back over to you.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that'll kind of give us a good intro in because neither one of us has any skin in the game of rank G or S. I probably will never ever get there, no matter how many pugs I play. Um, I wanted to get someone with someone with perspective that kind of has that has the personal experience with trying to grind and get into those two ranks. So today we do have X Third Impact's Viz with us, who had just won the advanced playoffs, and I wanted to get a little bit of perspective from him. So first off, I
Hello,
just
hello.
going on. How you doing today, man?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Good, man. I'm good. I just want to get basically your initial thoughts on everything that has kind of changed with the ESEA. Maybe start off with like rank G and rank S changes. What is your opinion on those? And if there's anything you'd like to change, what would that be?
I think that ESEA finally like figured out that they were fighting a losing battle with Face It with the whole like hub system, and I think that this is definitely a good change. Um, I definitely think that taking all of the money out of rank G was completely smart because that hub was not the best. Well, it was not in its best state. Uh, Especially here recently, it's been really bad. So I think overall it's a good change. I don't know how I feel about still having money in rank S, but I completely understand why they need to do it
Hmm.
because it's like, what is there to gain from playing pugs other than the rank? Like, there has to be something to gain from it to incentivize people to play pugs, which is completely understandable. Um, I do want to say that I think that this is like the perfect scenario for ESEA. I don't think it's the worst update. I definitely see how people are going to be upset with it, but at the end of the day, it's ESEA was never going to win the pug battle of like
Yeah,
the platform battle between pugs and hubs. It all ESEA needs to worry about is just focusing on team-based Counter Strike, and that's what they're doing. I
yeah,
think it's a good change.
yeah. I feel like that's kind of what they've had not really a monopoly on, but they've really been for years now, kind of that league that has allowed for semi-pro teams to rise up, like with their open through MDL league. So I definitely understand why they're putting more emphasis on the and really appreciate it, because I feel like there's a lot more money to be made with pugs and stuff rather than leagues, but also like for CS:GO in the long term, I think it's just so much more healthy to focus on team play, or at least have ESEA work on that. So yeah, I
hundred
definitely
percent.
agree.
I think that this is like a step in the right direction because before this update, realistically, there wasn't much money in actual team Counter Strike. It was more so like at the top of MDL, you would be making, I mean, decent money from like tournaments and stuff. But now this just completely opens up the door to
Right.
a whole lot of different opportunities for different players and teams to kind of grind out these bi-weekly tournaments.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of has like not really like, I'm not gonna say like Valorant vibes, but like it kind of feels like those weekly cups are kind of it offered a lot of money to those teams that, orgs can't always pay out uh salaries
Of
for
course,
teams, you know what I mean? So having an opportunity to grind out and really make some money off of playing as a team is, I think, so much better than playing having to grind out and play pugs with just like four random people that you queued up with, you know what I mean? So
100%.
super sick, yeah. I don't know if you got
Yeah.
anything,
So
Jayel.
yeah. I'm curious. You led into a couple things that I do agree with, so that was nice to hear. I didn't have to completely change up my thought. But I'm curious, and I feel like a lot of people have the same sentiment about Face It and ESEA. And I'm curious, like, what your opinion is on like why do you think kind of Face It has like that control over the Pug Hub and as opposed to ESEA's hold on it.
It dates back to like the recent, not, it's not even recent. It's more so like it's a couple years ago now. Whenever all of the pros like had their main quips with ESEA Rank S, like back in 2018, like when people weren't getting removed that they had been like complaining about for multiple months. But I think that is where it all started, and then Face It kind of capitalized off of that with like completely revamping FPL and NA and like adding all of the top tier NA pros, and then I don't know. I just think that this all stemmed from the rank S admins back in 2017, 2018 not really listening to the advice that the players in the hub actually were like giving them. So at I basically Face It just capitalized off of that and basically just made a hub that was really competitive at the time, which is now all starting to turn right back around, and it's turning into the same like cycle, I guess, over and over again with people complaining about FPL and NA. But I think it
Interesting.
was expected.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and FPL's kind of has the entire Euro scene integrated to it as
Oh
well,
yeah,
which
they've had
like
Europe.
ESEA will never. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've had Europe on for years. I feel like now,
Yeah.
like 2016 or so.
Yeah. And then I'm curious, you also mentioned on it before as far as like there's been, and like I said in the beginning of this show, I was like, I've like actually the first couple of days of this update, I saw probably 75% flaming hate for them versus, the positive. So I'm curious, Viz, like, what is your opinion on like the people that kind of are just like, this sucks, like blah blah blah. Do you kind of have like a take on that?
I think they're not seeing it from ESEA's perspective, to be quite honest. Yes, I can see why people are upset with the update and like completely getting rid of rank G and the rank S like queues. But at the end of the day, most of the people that are upset about it are people that aren't really putting as much time into Team Counter-Strike. So this, if anything, this update hurts them more than it would hurt people that actually prioritize playing Team Counter-Strike over the hubs. So I think that's where most of their quips are coming from. Just like they
Yeah.
aren't being rewarded for grinding these pugs and hubs every month.
Right.
So it's like kind of just screwing them over in terms of like financials, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I kind of noticed that a lot of the people on my Twitter who were complaining about it the most are people who play pugs who kind of relied on that to kind of start their road to, like, I guess pro. I guess I don't know what the best way to put it is, but yeah, I definitely see how having skin in the game with rank G, like trying to make money off that, can kind of hurt them. But yeah, I'd like the changes personally, specifically with the cups. Yeah. With that being said, I don't know if Jayel, if you have any more questions for about rank G or ESEA or anything specifically, but are you ready to move on to the news of Third Impact?
I'm ready if you guys are.
Yeah. So starting off, you had a great was it a first or second season with Third Impact?
That was first season.
First
This last
season. Yeah.
first
So I
season,
mean, you played your season out with Third Impact in North American Advanced, and you actually ended up winning the league. But yeah, I guess you decided to separate from them. You want to talk about any sort of motivation that went into that decision?
I'm gonna be a little vague with
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but it's nothing against any of my old teammates. There's literally no internal dispute.
Right.
Like, I love all those guys to death. I would not have even been close to where I am without them. But I think the main proprietor for it was lack of commitment. I'm not quite sure how to word it, but um, I definitely think that they are still a good team. 100%. I would literally.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not. Yeah, I can't really find a safe way to word this.
yeah,
Um, I definitely do think that they are a really good team. I love all of those guys. It was probably the most fun I think I've ever had on a team ever. Like,
yeah,
inside of practice, outside of practice, and matches, like the vibes were just always great. I have nothing but good things to say about them. But there comes a day where myself as a player wanted something more, and I feel like that's something more that I am striving to get to would not have been achievable with them, if
yeah.
that makes sense.
No, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. And so I guess just kind of reflecting real quick as well, as far as like this playoffs, that was nuts. from the finals to the whole grind through it. Did you kind of, I guess, kind of expect that to be happening, or like when you started rolling, you're just like, all right, let's go. Kind of like what was your feeling through playoffs? Like, were you playing your best Counter Strike, or was it just kind of happening? And did you expect to have that happen? What? Because yeah, you got tons of hype. I mean, HLTV blew you up. People were hitting you up, I'm sure. Can you kind of just like reflect on what that was like?
I feel like honestly, I wasn't even playing like the best Counter Strike that I could have been playing in any of those matches. To be quite honest, I think it
Wow.
was more so just like a combination of other teams having like nerves in the matches, and also a combination of um, my teammates helping me become the best player that I could have been in those matches.
Hmm. Yeah.
I definitely think that I could have played better in a couple of those matches, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter because we still won. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just does not matter to me at the end of the day. All I care about is winning.
Yeah. I mean, you had the according to HLTV, you had the best rating out of anyone besides I think Delta 9. Although you did play 10 more games than him. That HLTV kept track of. So I mean, yeah, that was just a great performance in ESEA playoffs specifically, and I mean that the fact that you had that team around you to set you up, but yeah, I get what you mean with the whole with all of the commitment, and I'm sure that they are committed, but I guess it kind of is it like different levels of commitment throughout the team basically is
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
yeah
Without
So
getting too much into it.
right
yeah.
yeah
Let's kind of move over to maybe like the more exciting things as far as like, maybe what's ahead from you. So how about this? I mean, like, did people kind of like start hitting you up like after this finals happened, or have they kind of been hitting you up progressively through this, or are you kind of like now just making it official that like you're ready to kind of start talking to people?
I will say that I had like a couple of people praise me like before the finals, a couple of notable people, but for the most part, I think it was more so people hitting me up after the fact that I decided to take my leave.
Cool. And like, what do you kind of like? What do you say like you're kind of looking for as far as a new team goes? Like, are you looking to kind of stay in like the MDL region? Are you looking for even more than that? Maybe like getting into like this ESL scene. Kind of like, what are your expectations for what you really want to do if you had your choice?
Well, I mean, obviously, my first choice would be like, if I could be a professional right now, that'd be pretty cool. But
yeah
uh, I like to keep I like to set my expectations low, so I'm not like completely crushed
yeah
whenever something bad happens. Like, I'm not gonna set my expectations as joining like Liquid or some shit. I'd
right
rather just set my expectations at like a mid-tier MDL team and see what happens from there.
okay yeah I got one last question for you. I don't know if JL has anything else, but my last question was: did you and your team know that you were leaving before you played Kinship the other night for the Mythic League Open?
No, it was more so after the fact. I think there was definitely inklings in the back of my mind that I wanted to leave maybe before that match, but there was never any like ill intention with me.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it was more so just like a culmination, like that adding into it,
Mm-hmm.
also along with other things behind the scenes that I'd just rather not talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. Um.
I've got one question as well. One last one. Has Triumph reached out to you yet?
I I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Okay. Okay.
We will
Nice.
see in the coming weeks.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's it for me. Viz, man, thanks very much for coming on, talking about
Of
the
course.
ESEA
yeah.
stuff, and congratulations on you and Third Impact getting it. And yeah, best wishes from us for this upcoming season, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you. I
so
appreciate
much.
it.
All right. Well, that was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Um,
I love having the player interviews. It's always so much fun.
yeah, it's a cool way to start it off too. Like the episode, kind of just jump right into it and then kind of go through the other things.
Oh yeah.
Um, I've got next on our list the main IM and Open playoffs. I know you're advanced scene only.
I'm not. I mean, I kind of am, but I don't
I
pay
can.
as close attention to
Yeah.
Open, IM, and Main just because I feel like I've got so much on my plate with Advanced right now because I'm trying to keep a close eye on that, give
Yeah.
them the attention that they deserve so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
you take the lead on this one.
Yeah. I'll run through it. And so I thought today was tomorrow, but tomorrow is tomorrow. In case anyone was forgetting about how times and days of the week work. Um, so tomorrow's gonna be nuts. We got the Open, IM, and Main playoff finals. All three tomorrow night. So starting with Open, it's obviously gaming. I mean, everyone saw that coming, so you didn't miss much there.
Yeah.
Versus CZ and the boys with a Z. Don't forget the Z. Um, gaming. I think it was last night. They dropped their first map in I think the entire season to Dragonborn, who I found out for the first time was just like a Smurf team. I'm hoping one day we can find out who that squad was because that was pretty cool to watch on Ito's stream. And they're going up against CZ and the boys, who don't know too much about them, but they haven't dropped a single map all season. So I don't think there's much up in the air there. I mean, I'm sure, try and win the final of the Open Division pretty intensely.
Right.
But yeah. In IM, we've got Eros versus Desi Boys V2, also with a Z. So shout out to the Z names in
Mhm.
Open and IM.
A lot of boys.
If you want, if you want to make Open or IM Grand Finals, make sure you have a Z in your name. There is a 100% chance you will make it. But as far as Eros, I've been talking to their owner for the past couple of weeks now, and they've been smacking through the playoffs. They're the 36th seed, and they made grand finals in
Wow.
IM. So shout out to them. Yeah, lots of
That's really
upsets.
good.
Yeah, and on the Desi boys side, not much to say about them besides the fact that they beat Ryder Esports, which for those of you that know them, they won Main last season and decided to take their grand finals championship of Main and bring it down to intermediate.
Yeah, that's just I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
Cool. I've heard some things about uh that team, but I mean, I guess if you have that ability, then why not use it?
Yeah. So they won Main, couldn't win IM, but
Wait, they lost?
yeah, they lost to Desi Boys. Desi Boys knocked them out probably like 3 rounds ago,
Oh,
maybe 3 to 4. Yeah,
wow.
so that should be pretty cool.
Yeah,
It'll be cool to see Arrows win it as a 36 seed. That'd be sick,
that would be
honestly.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in Maine, GGPR Esports versus Random Twitter Org. GGPR, shout out, has not dropped a single map in Maine playoffs, which
It's
it's
impressive.
been a pretty cool Maine playoffs. Yeah, yeah. And they're going up against Random Twitter Org, who grinded through the lower bracket and came out on top there. So that should be a good match. I was talking to Cuz briefly on Twitter before this, and he was saying how people are saying that they're an underdog. I don't understand that. So if you're the person that thinks that, I'd love to know your opinion on why, because JGPR has been on a tear in this main playoff so far. So yeah, all right, Xner, I'm ready to get out of there. So if you want to bring us into this next topic of whatever
Yeah.
your choice is.
So I next topic I guess I want to speak on Imperium Gaming's new fifth. Imperium Gaming's was the team in advanced that I kind of kept a close eye on. They had a really good run in I think it's actually Imperium Esports, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Imperium
Imperium Esports. Yeah.
Esports, not gaming, because there was two Imperiums last season. It was a whole mess, but um they got a new fifth in the likes of yohan, who has a couple of seasons in advanced, but I was a little disappointed to see this roster change up. I'm not disappointed in yohan specifically. I just liked that roster so much, and I saw a lot of potential in them. And I've heard a lot of good things with their IGLs and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it should be definitely a team to keep your eye out on. They had a good run for their first season together as Imperium Esports, and I expect nothing but the same for them in the next season to have another good run and maybe make it further into playoffs this season. So definitely a team to keep your eye out on when 35 rolls around.
Yeah, for sure. They were hungry in that last season, grinding into playoffs, and yeah, for sure, they're going to be in a good place for this upcoming season.
Oh yeah.
And then kind of continuing on the trend of people that are changing up is Hyper made the announcement that they're going to be having someone leave after the MDL relegation tournament. They didn't say who, but they did say someone. And it'll be interesting to see if they do make MDL, if that will still be the case. I can't imagine it being the case. I feel like whoever that person is might be selling themselves short and expecting to not make it. But I loved Hyper this past season. They were awesome. They were an
Right.
underdog in every game. They made a nice run in playoffs. They beat RBG at least once last season.
Yeah, it was on Nuke too, so.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that'll be interesting. And I kind of want to say, as far as like this whole thing, I see there's the part of the reason why I said in the beginning of this episode where it's like kind of overwhelming with all the news because like there's so many roster changes
Yeah.
going on in main and advanced, and a lot of the main teams coming into advanced next season are making these changes as well. Good
Yeah.
teams, and I just want to say, because I'm also speaking specifically to someone in my network where I feel like, you know, there's so many of these teams that are making these changes where it's like if you can keep a team together in this offseason and bring that same squad, whether you're going into advanced as a move up or, you know, staying in advanced and trying to perform better, you're at such an advantage compared to those other teams because like no
Right.
matter how much time you spend, you know, trying to grind in this offseason, it's the offseason, right? It's not the league. Tons of people are on breaks right now. And all these rebuilds are going to be just like they're going to be feeling and figuring themselves out in these first few weeks of advanced. And if you can string together a couple of wins to start the season off with the same team and the same chemistry, it pays dividends. And I think it's
Yeah.
especially true for these teams coming from main to advanced.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at RBG's growth specifically, a team that's been together for 3 seasons, you know, granted, you know, if they don't make MDL, I'm not sure how long they'll stick together. But I really do expect them to make MDL because I just know how hard they work and I know how hard they've been working. But yeah, definitely just trying to stick together. It's gonna come with its rewards, especially as these more and more of these cups come through. You know, you'll have a better opportunity to start winning some serious money if you grind as a team together and you stick to it. But yeah, I would definitely follow up with that suggestion. You know, obviously if things don't work out, they don't work out. But yeah, definitely a great little piece of advice there from you.
Yeah. And I guess my last piece on it is like, yeah, it's been cool seeing RBG still grind out these random, not random, you know, they're mythic cups and stuff. But yeah, it's really cool seeing them go through the qualifier and make it and put up a fight. I mean, they took a map off Chaos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was kind of crazy too. 16-14, they were going into it. I believe they were like 11-14 down, and they were still able to like claw that lead back, which is a huge testament to that roster. I mean, I don't know of any team that could really pull that off. Keep their heads in the game that well. And stick to it to Chaos. I mean, they went into map number 2. I think they lost 16-2 on Overpass, which was a map they had taken off of Chaos before, and then they nearly took it on, I think, Train, but they had a really good series against a top MDL team. So I mean, it's just a testament to how hard they work and how much time this team is putting together to nearly try and take that away from a team like Chaos.
Yeah. All right. So got a couple more things here. Kinship beating Third Impact for the Mythic Open League. It's kind of weird saying Kinship and Third Impact and Mythic Open.
Right.
2 teams that
Yeah.
definitely deserve to be up there. So it was cool to see both of them in the finals. Congrats to Kinship, right, for
Oh
beating
yeah.
them. Obviously, beating the advanced champions, impressive. And you know, Kinship had the #1 seed in advanced, and maybe didn't perform to everyone's expectations. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see them kind of bounce back and take a cup championship like that. Not a cup, excuse me, like a league championship like
Right.
that, especially against Third Impact. So
Yeah, it's gotta feel good for them. I really like that team as well, following them throughout the season. I had high expectations for them in playoffs, and yeah, they kind of fell short. Yeah, I would also follow up. That's why I asked that question. I was like wondering maybe if at the time they knew that this was gonna be kind of their last hurrah as Third Impact, and they might have just been having fun with it. Um, but kind of knowing that it wasn't Viz, or Viz hadn't announced it to the rest of the roster, definitely makes me more, I guess, proud of Kinship for beating Third Impact.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, now we're in the final run, I think, as far as maybe things outside of the of the counter nature scene, maybe, you know, some
Yeah.
professional amateur stuff. So I want to give a little brief highlight to this whole CEVO kind of like mystery almost. You know, they sent out that cryptic tweet with initiates.
Yeah.
I sent them I sent them a message on Twitter, see if I could get anything from them, but they didn't even acknowledge the message. And so I don't know. I will say their website still is not impressive at all. So I'm curious. I don't know. What do you think they could be doing there? I really have no idea.
Dude, I would love for CEVO to come back. And again, put some more money into semi-pro. I just like prize pools for me have to be the greatest motivator for pro play. Like having so many different opportunities with like Mythic League Open, and like if a potential new CEVO league comes out, to have just more and more money put into this league can only mean more money for orgs, more money for, you know, casters. And yeah, it's just nothing but it's gonna just increase the competition. So I really hope that whatever they have planned for comes quickly, because I loved playing some CEVO whenever I when it was up, and hoping that we can get it once again.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure. And then we've got DreamHack, kind of reiterating on that. I know we talked about it briefly because obviously Grim to Liquid, and you know that kind of being his debut. That's this weekend, right? That
Yeah.
tournament.
Let me check HLTV. I believe it is this weekend.
Pretty sure.
I think August 8th is when it starts.
Yes, that's Saturday.
Yeah. I mean,
It's gonna be sick. That's gonna
kind
be
of
awesome.
right. It's gonna be marking the end of the player break, and the thing that I just love so much is that we've got from August 8th to the 16th, we got DreamHack Open North America and EU, and then right after that we got ESL 1 Cologne North America and EU, which is just
Wow.
gonna be so awesome. Like I missed watching some pro CS in the player break. I missed casting as well. Like it's just been kind of a slow off season, and I'm ready for things to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen on Twitter, so are the players. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be super exciting.
I will say it's been nice though at the same time,
Yeah.
and I hope the players, I hope the players are saying that in the sentiment that like it's been perfect.
Recharging, refreshing. Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
And I think I mean if they're feeling the same way that I do, I think that you're on the right track there with how these players are feeling for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm pumped. I've been tired of going onto Twitch on my phone during the day or during at night and just seeing like, no
Nothing.
offense to them, but yeah, just lesser, you know, pro scene kind of stuff like Malta Cup and things like that.
Right.
It's just, yeah. So
Right.
that's really exciting. And then we talked about the Mythic League Cup a little bit. You know, I think the big point there was positive vibes being Zay Pug Gods, which is exciting for them. You know, I think that was their first real showcase outside of like the Levitate sponsorship.
Right.
So it was a good kind of showing for them to say that, you know, we're a reputable team that deserves, you know, solid organization. So that was cool. And then also, as we said, you know, RBG taking a map off of Chaos. So
Yeah.
that was another well run and an exciting Mythic League Summer Cup. But yeah, I mean, as we said, ready to get back into the pro scene for sure this weekend.
Yeah. I'm excited as well. Should be a good next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have a ton to talk about. We're gonna be really be flexing our pro scene muscles next week, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely gonna be keeping a close eye on those. I'll actually be at the beach. You might have a really cool background for me next time, rather than a green screen. But yeah, is there anything else we gotta besides making sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel?
Yeah. Got to give the generic. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit that
Hit that
notification
like
bell.
button.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you guys on Twitch, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hope you guys liked it. I didn't get to see any of the messages during this episode. My laptop screen is not compatible with two browsers open. But yeah, thanks everybody from me. Hope you keep tuning in. Counter Nature, new website's coming out next couple of weeks, probably in 2 weeks from now. So we're about to go to the next level. This show is bringing us to the next level, and yeah, that's a big thank you from me.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. That's about all that I've got. I guess this is Jayel and I signing off with another week of the Counter Nature Show. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell on the YouTube so you don't miss a episode. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Later, everybody.